Hey guys, my name is Chantel. Welcome back to my channel and thanks for hanging out with me today. So today we are talking about the finale for Sasaki and Miyano, and y'all, the build up for this episode was so amazing. The visuals, everything was just stunning. Oh man, they just hit it out of the park with this episode. It was so fantastic. But enough gushing. Let's go ahead and just discuss this episode. So let's first talk about where we last left off, with Miyano basically freaking out that Sasaki misunderstood him and decided to leave home. So Miyano basically just dropped everything that he was supposed to do, like with the student council, and he just went to go tell them that, hey, like, tell me tomorrow. And he went running to go look for Sasaki, which honestly, I like the whole time it was like, go Miyano, go get your man. I was just like rooting for him and like screaming. I just wanted him to catch up with him and hopefully see him like at the entrance or something. But then we see that he missed him, and I was just like, oh no. So poor Miyano was like freaking out, and he was like, no, like this is not happening. He just completely misunderstood me. That's not what I was trying to do. But good thing is that Hirano and Hanazawa senpai come to the rescue and ask Miyano like what's going on. And thankfully Hirano tries to call Sasaki and see if he'll pick up and find out where he's at. And while this is all happening, Hanazawa actually has a little bit of time to talk to Miyano and basically asks him, are you guys dating? Do you like him? Like, what's going on? And, Miyano finally admits it out in the open. And Hanazawa is the first one to hear it, that he likes Sasaki. And Hanazawa, man, I'm telling you guys, ever since last week's episode, I just love this character so much. I really appreciate Hanazawa as a character, and I just love everything that he told Miyano in this episode. Which, I guess let's break it down a little bit. So Hanazawa basically, like, the whole gist of his conversation with Miyano was, how things are gonna be a little bit difficult because they are dating each other. They're a same-sex couple, and he's gonna get questions that, the opposite sex wouldn't get questions of, and he's gonna get stares and looks, just people not understanding their love. And I love that Miyano does ask, he's like, hey, it sounds like you're speaking from experience. And he says, technically I am, because my family has gone through this. And he basically says, I worry a lot about my brothers, because when they come home and they're hurt, I wonder if they got into a fight, or just little things like that. And, we discussed this in last week's episode, how Hanazawa was, like, just overall worried for his brothers and their future, and how people would, take their love and see them. He was just overall worried. And, he's letting Miyano know, like, hey, this is what's gonna happen. It's gonna be hard. There's gonna be people who won't accept you guys and won't like it. And it's not all gonna be rainbows and sunshines and flowers, but can you go through with this? Can you do it? Do you think you'll be able to, outweigh the bad with the good? And thankfully, Miyano is like, yes, if Sasaki is with me, I can overcome anything. And I'm just like, oh, that was so sweet. And then just when Miyano said that, it just made me think of when, the whole situation with Miyano feeling insecure about being called cute, and how Sasaki helped him see that differently and help him be more confident with himself. It's just so beautiful, you guys. And that's the thing with, when you really love someone and it's a good match, a perfect match, you guys will balance each other out and will fill in the blanks to the bad parts that you have. Like, I don't know if I'm making any sense, but like, it's just like they're just so cute and just so meant for each other. But anyway, I just overall really enjoy that we have a character like Hanazawa just looking out for Miyano. Like, I think it's really beautiful, honestly. Like, it's really, really beautiful. Like, you can tell that Hanazawa really cares for both Sasaki and Miyano, and, you know, by the looks of it, he is worried about those two and what, you know, trials await them. And, you know, I'm sure he's gonna be there for them if they need him. Like, he's been there for Miyano and helped him out through his little journey and trying to figure out, like, if he does love Sasaki. So, you know, Hanazawa is just, he's a really great character. That's all I have to say. Anyways, enough about Hanazawa. So, Hirano wasn't able to get in contact with Sasaki, but while this is happening, Miyano finally gets, like, an idea of where Sasaki could be. So he rushes off and he basically remembers what Kurosawa mentioned about Sasaki's family running a bakery, or that he worked at a bakery. So he was just like, okay, let me go and see what's up with that. And I love that while he was on the train, he gets confirmation like, yeah, that's it. Like that was a bakery and stuff like that. And, you know, while Miyano is on the train, he just is constantly thinking about Sasaki and just overall their time together and how much Sasaki has cared for Miyano and how Miyano wants to take care of him and be there for him just like Sasaki has been there for him this whole time, and just, you know, he's ready for all of it. Which, by the way, while Miyano runs off to the train, I love that Hirano was able to leave a message to Sasaki and tell him like, hey, you forgot some things at school. And Hanza was like, what did he forget? And he's like, nah, I lied. He didn't forget, but this is just something to help him run into Miyano. And if he doesn't run into Miyano, he ends up here. I'm gonna smack him. And I'm like, you know what, Hirano? Same. Like, Hirano is really the MVP of this whole season 2. Like, a lot of characters are really the MVP, but Hirano, you know, when it comes to Sasaki and Miyano, like, he's always there to help them and help them, like, bridge that communication, like, those misunderstandings. And it's just, like, Hirano is just such a good character and a good friend overall. Like, he honestly didn't have to do that, but he did. Like, he's such a kind person, and I just love Hirano so much. But anyway, thankfully, thanks to Hirano, Sasaki was able to see Miyano as he was about to go into the train station. Like, what were the odds of that? And I was just so grateful for that, because I was just like, thank God they finally see each other and they're going to be able to talk it out. But before we get into that, let's talk about Sasaki's point of view of this whole situation, because it was really interesting to see Sasaki's point of view for a little bit, because you can obviously see like he is just hurt and upset with himself because he felt like he was pressuring and forcing Miyano into a corner when Miyano is still trying to think about his feelings. And you know, he doesn't know what to do with himself, because he's like, he constantly keeps saying how he's gonna burst and he just can't help himself. So he tries to think, maybe I should like distance myself from him, but is that gonna make things worse? So he's just trying to be really considerate of Miyano's feelings. And I'm just like, sweet baby boy, like, it's okay. It's okay, because he feels the same way about you too, but he doesn't know that. And it's just like, oh, and then just the hurt and the look in his eyes, like how sad he is, just, it hurt so much. But I'm so glad that Miyano ran after him and they're able to talk. So they basically go to a place like where they can talk it out. And before Miyano is able to say something, Sasaki apologizes for, you know, almost kissing him and how he should be more considerate and all that jazz. But I love that Miyano is like, I like you. And it's just so cute because Sasaki's reaction, it's just, he's like, say that one more time, and I'm just like, oh, like, it was really, really, really cute. Because you can tell like the look of surprise on him, and like he just can't believe it, so he needs to hear it again. So I'm sure he's like, am I dreaming? Like, this can't be actually happening. And I'm just like, baby boy, it's happening. It's real. Like, this is your time. And it's just, they're just so cute, you guys. So stinking cute. But anyway, Miyano is just like trying to convey his feelings to Sasaki as best as he can, and he's just like stumbling on his words and everything, and he's just like a jumbled mess because he wants to make sure that Sasaki understands his feelings, and he wants to make sure that there's no misunderstandings. And I'm just like, it's okay, baby boy, calm down. And I do love that he thinks of Hanazawa when he's just like rushing and stumbling on his words, and he hears Hanazawa's voice of calm down. And he's like, okay, deep breath, and he's able to say what he needs to say. And y'all, when Miyano holds Sasaki's hand during this whole thing, and just when Sasaki's like, hey, your hand's cold, I'm like, oh! And I don't know why this made me cry, but just seeing how Sasaki gently, like, rubs his finger on Miyano's hand just melted my heart and just made me emotional, because I can see so much love and tenderness in that little motion. Like, it's just so beautiful, and it's just, like, I can feel it. You know, like, the tenderness and the sweetness that it comes from. And then it also reminded me of a few episodes back when Miyano was reading a BL about how, you know, how their hands are cold because they're nervous and stuff like that. And it just made me think of that. And I'm like, they're both nervous because they both mentioned to each other how both of their hands are cold. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. Like, they're just so stinking cute, you guys. And then just Sasaki asking for consent for the hug and the kiss was just really sweet. Like, we love a boy who asks first before going in. Like, it was just so cute, you guys. And just the way that they hug each other and the way that they go in for the kiss is just so sweet and tender, because, like, the way that Sasaki just, like, touches Miyano's lip, and then the way that he holds Miyano, and the way that Miyano holds Sasaki, and then the way that he kisses his hand before he goes in for the kiss is just, oh. That's what made me cry. Just seeing, like, this whole build-up towards the kiss made me so emotional, and just, like, y'all, I was crying. I was a mess. And even now, just thinking about it, I want to cry again. I'm not gonna cry. But it was just so beautiful, and like I said, there's just so much sweet and tenderness with it, like the motions, their hands, everything. Like, they're not saying anything, but we can feel it, and that's what I love about these two. Like, they're just so tender and sweet with each other, and it's, oh, how I wish I had a love like these two. It's just the sweetest. After a while, reality does set in with Sasaki, and he's just like, man, this just makes it even more harder, and reality setting in because I'm gonna graduate soon. And I'm just like, damn, he's right. Which makes me curious to know, like, what's gonna happen between the two now that, you know, Sasaki's on his way to graduating high school. He's gonna be in college, and Miyano's still gonna be in high school. So I'm wondering how that's gonna, you know, help the relationship, or, like, is there gonna be, like, any bumps on the road? Does that make sense what I'm trying to say? Like, are there gonna be any hurdles that they're gonna have to go through? Or, you know, I don't know how else I can explain that, but I know that they'll be okay. Based on everything I've seen with these 12 episodes, with the volumes that are currently out in English for the manga, I know that they'll be okay. I know they'll be able to make it through anything. And just, y'all are just so sweet and wholesome. But anyway, which, funny enough, Miyano is like, holy crap, before I forget, I like you, will you go out with me? And I love that Miyano, like, tells him why he had to say that before he forgot, because he's like, I just remember reading in a BL how, like, they confessed to each other but they weren't going out, and I was in such distress, and I was just laughing because, like, Miyano's the MVP. Like, it was just so funny to me, because I was like, you know, that's kind of how it is with most romance anime, you know? And I love that Miyano was just like, we're not doing this. It's almost like they broke a fourth wall in a way, but they didn't. You know what I'm saying? So it was just such a fun touch. It's almost like Miyano letting the audience know, like, hey, we're not gonna leave you hanging. We are going to be official by the time this episode runs out. And sure enough, they do become official. Sasaki also tells him, like, will you go out with me? And they're official, you guys. They're finally official, and it just makes my heart full. Like, my heart's gonna burst, you guys. Like, it just, I'm so happy. And I do love that towards the end of the episode, after the credits, we get to see, like, the aftermath of everything, which basically is just Miyano letting the people know, like his friends, Kurosawa and Tashiro, that he's going out with Sasaki, which I think was really cute because you can see like how Kurosawa was just happy for him and how he's like, oh, like go tell Tashiro, and Tashiro's just like oblivious of the whole thing. But Kurosawa's the real MVP because like he saw that people were listening, so he's just like, let's just go somewhere more quieter so we can discuss this, which is really sweet. And, you know, Miyano obviously comes out to them and is like, hey, I'm dating Sasaki now. This is how it is. And I just love that he has supportive friends. Like, we already knew this, and I already have said this time and time again, how Kurosawa and Tashiro are such good friends towards Miyano and are accepting of him. Like, they're just such great characters, such great friends overall. And then we also get a scene between Hirano and Sasaki, which we know from the very beginning that Sasaki, you know, told Hirano how he felt about Miyano and how he liked him. And Hirano has also been there for this whole entire journey with Sasaki and helping him as well as Miyano. So I love that he told Hirano like, hey, we're finally going out. I just thought that you should know. And then I love that Hanazawa also overheard, and the thing that made me laugh so much was that Ogosada like comes in, he's like, what's going on? What's happening? And he's like, you know what? We'll tell you later. And I'm just like, no, y'all are not going to do my boy Ogosada dirty like that. But we know Ogosada's going to be really accepting of those two as well because, you know, he had told Miyano like, you know, he doesn't mind that. It's none of his business anyway, but you know, he also thought that they were going out at the time. But yeah, like overall, a really, really happy ending. I'm really sad to see it go, but also really happy to see that there's going to be a continuation because at the end of the episode, we got an announcement that it got greenlit for a continuation, which I have a lot of questions. I wonder if it's going to be about Hirano and Kakigura maybe, or if we're really going to continue on with Sasaki and Miyano. I know on my anime list they had an OVA like written there before this announcement, so I wonder if that's what it was, but I don't know. We'll see, because they did say that there will be more information released later on. So here's to season 2 of Sasaki and Miyano, hopefully, and honestly I can't wait to see because I would really be excited and happy to see what's in store for them next, especially because like this is a thing with romance anime. We only get to see until they confess and they go out, and then that's it. We don't get another season. So I would actually be really interested to see, you know, what happens after the confession, after they start going out. Do they have any troubles, worries? And especially with now that they have come out to their friends, have they come out to their family? Are they going to introduce themselves to their family? Like, I have so many questions, you know, that I would love to see, especially because I feel like this Sasaki and Miyano I feel like it's safe to say it's such a good representation for those who are trying to figure themselves out, are learning about themselves, discovering who they are, who they like. And I feel like this is such a good coming of age story because throughout this whole series, we got to see Miyano learning to accept the parts that he didn't like because, you know, he had someone who really loved him and cared for him, see him differently and helped him accept those qualities that he didn't like in himself. We saw Miyano's journey into trying to figure out, does he like boys, but he liked girls? Little things like that, these questions that come about and struggles. Just little things like that. So I feel like this is definitely a good representation. Again, I am just a straight woman. I can't really say for certain, but I really do hope, you know, like it is a good representation because of how healthy Sasaki and Miyano's relationship was. Sasaki being considerate of Miyano's feelings and his boundaries and asking for consent for everything. Again, this anime just really did it beautifully. It was so beautifully done, and I hope more people get to see this story and come to love the story and maybe relate to it. But overall, like I said, I love this series. I'm going to continue reading on the manga. I'm going to start reading Hirano and Kakigura for sure. And yeah, so that is it. Like I said, I'm sad to see it go, but I can't wait to see what's in store for these two and what we're going to see later on for the anime. And yeah, so that's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!